Hi guys, welcome to another video, and today we're going to discuss about soldering the 18650. So I wanted to see how many seconds I'm staying on the battery, because this is directly related to how much heat is transferred, obviously. I'm not even staying more than 1 second on the battery, and I'm letting it to cool, and you can see the welds are pretty good. And then I have already pre-cut these nickel strips. You can see this. Okay, so let's get back to soldering. Okay, so let's carry on. So we have this nickel strips already pre-made. Also, it's best if you use so this hand, because it's holding the soldering iron, is okay, but for the other hand, which is actually holding the soldering material, it's better to have a protective glove. So for now we don't need the soldering material, we just need to fix this in place after we have placed some soldering material. So done, this one done. Okay, it's just in place, but it's still not welded. So what we need to do now is actually to add more material. Let's adjust the angle, and as you can see, I'm using a ratchet to fix everything up. It's the best way. I didn't come up with this idea. I saw a YouTuber who did it before, and yeah, it's the best way, because actually I was getting very bad welds just because I'm not having them well placed together. I was using other fixation methods. This is the best. So now the weld is already done. If you want to have even better weld, you want to have the nickel strip as close as possible to the battery surface. So you can use something like this. The soldering is already enough. Everything is fine, but we need to have it more close to the battery, just to have more conductivity and even better weld. So we just touch it and it's done. Come here and touch it. And as you can see, I'm always having the positive side of the battery. I mean, I'm welding obviously 2 poles, so the positive is always closer to me, because it's the most difficult to do compared to the other one. Now that's done. Let's go for the next one. So this I've already pre-welded them, so I just need to, instead of having 2, I just need to have 4 in series right now. Placing them. So this still moving. I just touch the ratchet a bit, then still. Okay, done. Okay, now it's much better. It's much more easier to do the weld. Okay, so as you can see, the surface is very clean. I don't need to scratch it like before. I used to have all these tips about scratching it and all that. No, you just need something like this. It's 60 by 40, and it have a core flux inside. It's 0.8 millimeter as well, so it's not too thick, not too thin. It's good. So let's go here. And the temperature, by the way, for the iron need to be very high. So I'm using a 450 degrees, which is about 800 Fahrenheit. So yeah. And this one is one of the cheap ones. So you just adjust the degrees from the iron itself. As you can see, why is it not focusing? Okay. So as you saw, it's very important to not be on the battery for more than 1 second. Yes, some people do it up to 3 seconds, it's still fine, it still works. But I mean, the less you are, the better it is. And there was one YouTuber who did about a temperature test. So basically the temperature for this is about, if you keep it there, it can reach up to 100 degrees, because obviously this is 400, so you can transfer the temperature pretty easily. But if you keep it only 1 second, you are actually delivering for the core of the battery only 50 degrees, which is very, very close to the room temperature. I mean, like relatively speaking, compared to 100, or even closer to other welding methods, which is much faster, like automated methods. So, and this one is still the cheapest. You don't need to buy anything, you just need to buy this material, the soldering iron. You are done. And the weld is pretty strong, it's very good. And yeah, everything is perfect. Obviously, you also should clean your tip every now and then. You can use a sponge like I'm using. The best, obviously, if you're cleaning it every time you do the weld, but yeah, I'm so lazy for that. Okay, it's done. Actually, obviously, when I'm doing it like off camera, it's much more faster. You can try it yourself. So right now, what we need to do is we need to create one of these 6 in series. I need to use it for a different purpose. So this side is already welded, close. So what we need is we need to add another pair here. So we have a new clean pair, which is already pre-welded here. Of the positive. Always check the polarity, because earlier I made a mistake when I was starting off, that you can short them by, for example, placing the copper, the nickel strip above this instead of this, which is if you are doing it too fast, you might end up with a mistake like that, which is so dangerous. So obviously, before also you put the nickel strip on, before you weld it, you just place it there. Make sure there's not, because obviously if they are shorted, it will spark instantaneously, and then you can just brush it off with your protective glove. So this is our last pair. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you get some benefit from that. So as you can see, also the tip I'm using is a chamfer tip, which is the best tip. I've tried a lot of other options, but they are not as good. So it needs to be a very flat tip. And it's not flat like a knife, because there are some like that. It's actually flat like a chamfer, like it's chamfer cut off. So it's really good. And these nickel strips, you should have them cut for about 12 millimeters. And as you can see inside, I showed you earlier, like there is 1 or 2 millimeter. I think about 2 millimeters of a penetration cut inside, to just make allow the solder to go in these grooves, and it makes stick much more easy, and also it stays there much more. It's much more durable overall. Yeah, so after I fix them, I add more solder. And you can guys tell me in the comments if I'm staying more than 1 second, because yeah, I just estimate I'm staying 1 second at a time over the battery, but maybe I'm staying more longer. You can obviously see from the video timer. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Actually, I've been putting off this task for so long, even like almost a month, because of the horrible way I was doing it before, which I got from a lot of other YouTube's videos. So there is a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones. So just today I found out about this idea to put a ratchet. I already had a ratchet, so I just stick it in, and it's perfect. So now all you have to do is to release, and then you just group these batteries together. There is one more trick I want to show you for those who took around. So after you took the glove, you have a more free hand. Obviously, put the soldering iron away for safety, and then we're gonna use this one isolation tape. And we're gonna do something that's looks very trivial, but it's actually very, very important. So you cut the tape like this. It's obviously not required if you are doing something that's automated and doesn't have any faults, and it's perfect welds. You are already an expert. But if you are an amateur like me, so you can just put it here on the positive side. We're putting it there, and I'm gonna show you in a bit why we do that. So as you can see here, for the positive end, there is actually here underneath this protective layer, there is the negative end directly. So you end up with this bridge, which can actually short the two. So when you put this additional protective layer underneath the nickel strip, you are providing an extra protective layer. So even if you are like charging out a very hot current, maybe the temperature on these nickel strips gets high, you don't have any possibility of it shorting the battery. So yeah, and it's very cheap, it's very easy to do, and yeah, it's very fast as well. So why not do it? Unless you are doing something automated which have perfect welds, you really better do something like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.